Today is January 18, 2022. This is the Haney City Village Council meeting. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. There's Brandon. You there, Brandon?
I am.
You're up already.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I wanted to talk about pumps for an hour.
Well, you're losing connection with you. In front of you, everybody should have a copy of the January 4th, 2022 meeting minutes. If you haven't looked over it and get a copy in your email, take a look at it, review it.
Make a motion we approve the previous meeting's minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Weaver, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Since everybody's here, don't need a roll call. That's right. All right, I like that. All those that approve signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. And we have the treasurer's report.
So for those of you who have not met Cassandra Schlatter, am I saying that right? Okay. This is Cassandra. She's been with us part-time now. This is your second week? Mm-hmm. Yep. Cassandra comes to us from Germantown Hills, where she was doing some of the utility billing stuff that Tracy does and doing some of the accounting work there. Yeah, she's been a quick study. She's gotten up to speed on payroll and reporting, and they're in the process right now working with Locust to get things reconciled for the month of December. Normally we would have that at this meeting, but we've taken it a little bit slower because of the training that's going on, and we've been waiting on some information from the government on some things. So we should have I don't have the normal monthly report that I would have at this meeting. I'll have it at the next one for the December month-end results. What you do have in front of you is the warrant list from the last meeting, and then the two payroll reports in the back for the last two payrolls. So welcome, Cassandra. Like I said, she's been a quick study. She's got a lot of knowledge and information from Germantown that's been beneficial for us. She's knows how to do the work. She's just learning the system. So all the information's there. She's just not worked on Locust before, so she's learning that. But really excited to have her and grateful for her help.
Thank you.
She's also a music fan, but she's a Foo Fighter fan.
Not a Foghat fan.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my God.
Someone's a teacher, right?
Oh. Brian, what are we doing?
Funny running joke. I don't know how it's
I don't know what that is. I think Ryan's starting.
If you heard the song, you would hear it.
Listen, Zach.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay. It's just the big thing. Okay.
I found a remix. It's like,
Who sings that again? Why don't we keep it that way? Yo!
okay, now we got comedians.
Snuck that right in there.
Yeah.
We're in the treasurer's report.
I make a motion.
Accept.
I'll make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding debts.
Second.
A motion by Sidak, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? I still have to roll call. This one, we're spending money. Roll call, Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries. Since Brandon is late, we'll skip him. Go ahead, Brandon.
So how would you notice? I don't actually have a whole bunch. And Brian stopped me if you were going to dig deeper into either of these. But I thought we had a really good meeting earlier this week. What date is it? Regarding MFT, getting out ahead of it like we said we were going to. And I think the intent is to bring you a program for consideration the second meeting in February, so a month from now-ish. So I look forward to doing that, working with Brian and Roger to do exactly that.
Brandon, can you speak a little bit to the cost change? I think we're looking at about a 30% increase from year over year.
Right. We are seeing some significant cost differences from what we've seen over in the past. Both, 2 years ago, last year was a little higher than we had anticipated, and then we expect to see it even higher than last year. Rod, I don't know if you've got any detail there either, but it's probably no surprise to anybody that things cost quite a bit more right now than they have in the past. Hopefully it's temporary, but certainly I can't make that promise. But we want to do a little bit more homework, get information that we can get from the contractors willing to give it up, and put together what we think is a legitimate program to do the most we can, most bang for the buck. But I think it would be important to be anticipating higher costs for oil and construction work as just like everything else here in this coming year.
So Brandon, let me build on that a little bit. So we were just playing with some of the numbers, and we don't have bids or anything at this point, but we had built a 5-year plan. Let's say roughly we were going to say we're going to spend about $70,000 this year on the MFT program. They're guessing that number is probably going to be closer to the upper 90s, even close to $100,000 this year. So we're going to find ourselves in a situation where we're either going to have a discussion about expanding the amount that we're going to spend this year, or decreasing the amount of work that we do if those prices stay the same. Our working assumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, but our working assumption is that we were going to build the plan around the $100,000 number, keeping the work level the same. If we decide later and the prices don't come down or get in line in between now and when we bid it, then we can pull back on the work, which we probably would do, and just stick with our budget, but we would be doing less coverage than what we originally thought. In the hopes that it's a 5-year plan, so somewhere in the next 5 years, hopefully pricing will be better and more in line, and then we could expand and pick up where we fell behind. So that's kind of our working plan at this point. If anybody's got different opinions, then we can hear them. But and again, we'll go through all the details later, but that's kind of where our discussion went.
Right. I think there will be some decisions could be made here in the next month or so about exactly that. Given the new pricing, do we hold the scope or do we hold the dollars? So we'll get a little bit more information so that we can have an informed discussion and look forward to doing exactly that. The second item that I had, if there were enough questions on MFT, Brian, I just wanted to mention to the board as well. I don't know if you got a chance to look at the RFQ that I sent over from Tri-County, but we're trying to keep our fingers on the pulse, or continue to stay involved and with not only the course of the efforts that you guys are making with regard to the trail, but the regional efforts as well. Tri-County has a request out for a study to look at some of the connections up to Wildlife Prairie and then across the bridge here, Bob Michael in downtown Peoria, which are related to, but not really, I guess, involved with what your efforts. But just wanted to mention that we continue to watch that and see where that's going, and hopefully the main trail, or at least the right of way, will be able to be purchased here shortly, and these things will come together over time. But continue to be at least, like I said, keep our fingers on the pulse there.
Yeah, and Brandon, you guys bid on that work, right?
We did submit. We submitted qualifications for that. Yeah.
Okay, so basically what Tri-County's done, I think on behalf of Peoria County, is put a, I guess, request for, I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
qualifications for the possibility of connecting Wildlife Prairie Park to our trail, the Hannah City Trail, so straight up Taylor Road, and then also connecting from the Bob Michael Bridge all the way down and through West and South Peoria to the trail that would hit on the other side of Bellevue. And so they're already out in front of trying to find ways to connect the existing stuff to the Hannah City Trail, I guess, once, and assuming it comes through. And so that's good news, because that would bring, additional people our way. So,
Yeah.
And I might mention too, maybe it's a little bit out over my skis, but I guess that was a public meeting too. I think I've mentioned before that I sit on the City of Peoria Transportation Commission, and in our public Transportation Commission meeting today, we did talk a lot about regional trails, and we talked a little bit about the Hannah City Trail. It's on everybody's radar. It's an exciting thing. And how do we increase pedestrian and non-motorized activity? With COVID, certainly here with the Caleb trail up by the Rock Island extension up by your office, that is very popular. And it's there's a lot of excitement about this. So we talked a lot about that, within the City of Peoria, is how to take advantage of the things that you guys are doing. So just wanted to kind of keep that on everybody's radar and let you know that that's something that we're watching. That's all I have.
That's all you have?
That's all I have. I make something up.
3 months and that's all you got?
3 months.
No, thank you very much, Brandon. We appreciate
Always
it.
my pleasure. Yep. I'll sit and listen. If anybody has any questions, I'll turn the camera back on and happy to help.
Michael?
Hey, Mr. Mayor, just a few things from me. The ordinance relating to public works and the meters with respect to installation costs and placement, I'll be reviewing those with Bill this week now that he's back in town. Same with the certificates for the tax exempt properties. I know those need to be filed by the end of the month. So Bill's back in town. I'll be able to check. I think there was just one that we had a discrepancy with, couldn't figure out if the village actually own it, but everything in our records is showing that the village does own it. So I think,
I think we just wanted to confirm that.
Yep. And just go ahead and file all of them. But I'll have an answer here tomorrow on that. Last thing on my list is I think there's something going on with the EMS expansion, and we're going to need a public hearing on that. I believe that came out at the last meeting.
Yeah, we haven't gotten their information. Basically, where we're at is they're going to expand their building. They needed to have a site plan that they needed to turn in. We're waiting for them to submit the site plan.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a planning meeting on Monday, but we didn't have anything in from them on that, so we did not have a planning meeting. So
Okay.
I'm hopeful in the next 30 days we get their site plan. We can do it at the next meeting and then go on.
If a planning commission or zoning board of appeals meeting is needed, or a public hearing at one of those is needed, I believe we're going to still have to publish a notice in the paper 15 days out.
Okay.
So
we have 2 weeks, not a month. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than those three things, that's all I had.
You make it easy. Ryan?
So I don't have the December financials. I told you that we're reconciling. I think we'll have it reconciled tomorrow, hopefully. But we'll hold that till the next meeting. On the highlight sheet that I normally have, again, welcome Cassandra. Glad you're here. Tom's birthday is this week, and so his retirement, I think his last day is actually Friday of this week. So if you get a chance, maybe reach out to him and thank him. He did not want a big going away party or anything. That shouldn't surprise anyone. So we're going to have a small thing with just a few of us. That's what he wanted, so we're gonna do that. I'm going to skip rails to trails because I'll let Zach talk about that, and I'll jump in there. I'll skip on the utility rate analysis because I'll let Ryan cover that, and I'll jump in there. We're working on the 2.7% water increase, which will be happening at the end of this month. We talked about MFT planning, and I think I've already covered during the treasurer's report what we've done on financials. Just one thing, we did have the motor on the salt spreader on the back of the truck went out. And so we had to, because if it's going to rain or snow or anything, we wanted to make sure we had it. So it's going to be $600-700. So I went ahead and told them to go ahead and do that today, and then we can vote on it at the next meeting. But that's really everything I've got at this point. Questions for me?
Any questions? Committee reports? Mr. Johnson?
First up, looks like we have appointment of Cassandra, the village treasurer. That need to be a motion. Michael?
Tony
just did it, right?
Nomination, advice and consent of the board. So it still needs a motion and a second. So Tony would need to make his recommendation. And someone make a motion to accept.
Fire whistle on the side.
Yeah.
Fire whistle means there's fire EMS call, volunteer fire.
Everybody gets to know that.
Yeah, until 10:30.
It's volunteers. It's signal volunteers to come in case they're away from their phone.
You can get it on your phone. You can listen to this.
Well, I'll get right on that.
You can do that during the day.
What's the app? Is it an app?
Like 3 or 4
Yeah, there's several of them. You can get the broadcasting.
And then does it automatically give you your area, or you have to sign up?
You can hit closest. It'll give you the one I have is sort by closest ones to you.
Yeah, mine does scanners in the area that I have as my favorite. So I got Peoria County Sheriff's Department, Peoria Police Department, Peoria County Dispatch.
I just do Central Fire on Facebook.
On Tuesdays, when you go through and test calls.
I'm used to that. First Tuesday of the month, I'm used to that. We do that in Germantown, but
Does it freak you out? It hasn't gone off during the day when you've been here?
well, it's only gone off one time. First Tuesday of the month, I didn't think anything of it. And then the resolution.
Okay.
So you made your appointment yet? And have to make a motion. Then we have to make a motion to accept his appointment.
Tony makes the recommendation, and then
So
Could
Tony
ask
makes
for
a
a motion.
recommendation.
I'm
I make the recommendation to appoint Cassandra Schlatter as village treasurer.
Make a motion.
Now you make a motion.
That we approve Tony's recommendation.
Appointment.
Appointment.
I have a motion by Johnston.
Second.
I'll second.
Pink side act beat that. Come on, Marie. Okay. Any further discussion? We'll roll call that. Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Cassandra is now appointed the village treasurer.
That's right.
with the administrative.
All right.
That's right.
You gotta come up here and stand in the middle.
Defend his city against communism. Whatever that one Fred dug out that time. Before he showed up, he dug out. He was swearing me in one day. And he's like, "You defend the United States against the threats of." I said, "How old is this one?" He literally was saying that.
And I'm going to say your name.
Okay.
I, Cassandra
Slaughter,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of treasurer
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of treasurer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Now we got her.
Dang it.
Think you didn't.
Well,
So make a motion about the resolution appointing village treasurer as IMRF authorized agent.
resolution number, no?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Resolution should be 0102. We had one last time because we had a resolution for emergency power.
You're right.
I looked at them.
Yeah.
Resolution number 2022-01-02.
Correct.
Appointing village treasurer as IMRF authorized agent.
Second that motion.
Motion by Johnson, second by Sidak. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Pearson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak.
Yes.
Motion carries. Man, they're just stacking on the additional duties to you.
Yeah. So Denise, you've got the IRMRF sheet. I think you just need to sign that and give it to Cassandra, and she can take it from there.
Yeah, I need to seal it.
Okay.
Also make a motion.
Before you do that, since we've got this, I want to go ahead and make sure we do the bank stuff.
Oh, yes.
So, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be the authorized signature at the Hannah City Bank. What's it called?
Morton.
Morgan Community Banks of Hannah City will be myself, Mayor Frixell, Treasurer Cassandra Schlatter, Finance Trustee, what's his name? Caleb Johnson.
Is that also for Bank of Farmington?
Yep, and for the Bank of Farmington.
I don't believe I ever signed anything for the big firm to do
Well,
that.
we're
Because
gonna
we
have
never
to.
got to it.
We're not gonna. We all are gonna have to go to Bank of Farmington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I never got put on it either. So
Oh, sir.
yes,
Well, let me know when.
yeah.
That all
So
kind of got.
so with the so we'll do the Hannah City Bank
Okay.
first. So because I have to do these in
Okay.
proper order.
I'm good there.
So we got all of us appointed as authorized signatories.
And then delete.
Delete Christy Foster off of all accounts.
Do we need to delete Lori also? Did
Lori's
whoever
already
did
gone.
this- Okay.
Everybody else is already gone off that
Okay.
account.
So who's on? Oh, you're on Hannah City. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. So the Bank of Farmington then would be to authorize myself, Mayor Frixell, Treasurer Cassandra Schlatter, and Caleb Johnson on all CD accounts at the Bank of Farmington, because that's all we have there is CDs.
So who's on Bank of Farmington now?
I have to look at our meeting minutes from,
Did you take those meeting minutes the last time?
no, I never took them, so you have them. 'cause you got
Yeah,
all the
it
removed-
was you, Caleb, and Christy was the last time. So you never did that.
No, because,
So
Yeah.
I think Deanna and
yeah,
Fred are
Fred has to be
still
removed from
on
all
there.
accounts.
So Deanna and Fred are probably the only ones on Farmington then.
So
And all
Did
they
they say
did-
Lori's name? Or did she get taken off Farmington?
I think she got taken.
No, she's still on there.
yeah, because we.
So it's Deanna,
She's
Fred,
on
and Lori on Farmington? Yeah.
Okay, so remove.
So can one of them just come down with us then? Or is it, can you just do
I can
those?
just do
Okay.
it with
No,
the-
they just need these minutes and then they can.
Oh, okay.
But you guys will need a signed signature card.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just let me
And
know.
If you look at the last minute, not last minutes, when did Christy leave?
2 ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Because if you look at those minutes, it has all the removals
So just add those.
Yeah.
Okay.
as they were stated in that previous month's meetings. I thought you covered that
Mm-hmm.
At the last time the IMRF
Yeah.
resolution came up.
Remove anybody not named Tony,
Right.
Caleb, or Cassandra.
I got it. Okay.
Okay. Back to you.
Yeah, next week might be easier. But yeah, just let me know when you want to go to Farmington as well.
Yeah, because I'll have to submit this stuff, and then I think I have to go sign the accounts first,
Oh, okay.
and then
I think I've been to Farmington once.
you can't get lost. It's that way.
Yeah, just don't make any turns. Literally don't make any turns until you see the bank, and then come back the same way you went.
One stop sign.
Yeah.
Then you're in Farmington.
Like a fog head.
Actually, I went to
They may be playing venues like that. Who knows?
went to the JFL.
Whiskey Dixie's proudly present.
Oh, they're gone now.
It'd be an
They're
outdoor
tearing
concert.
down the building now.
Also make a motion that we approve using possibly up to another block of 20
This is
locust
just I
hours.
think this is just ratification.
What?
This is just to ratify the money we've already spent.
But we haven't spent it yet, but we did commit to it.
Oh.
I committed to it, but it's being spent now in her training.
Is there a
So we-
right here?
Yeah. So we bought an initial 1,800 and we used that for the November and December reconciliations and some payroll stuff. And then we bought another 1,800 to help with her transition and training. And that's been, according to Cassandra, extremely helpful.
Extremely.
That's my motion, ratifying those hours.
Motion to approve.
Motion to ratify.
Yeah, 'cause
Just motion to approve.
I already committed to spend the money, so it
We approved it.
has not been spent. We've not written a check for it yet. So yeah, maybe it's not a red.
I don't think it's a ratification.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I thought
expense.
this was for the previous one, so yeah.
Nope.
This would just be.
So my initial motion shall stand then.
Oh, you said ratify.
What? He said it's not a ratify. I didn't say ratify the first time. You corrected me to that. Led me astray.
It's my job.
Caleb, you want me to handle the next one?
Which one's that?
TIF surplus declaration.
So we
Just
have
tell
a
me the
motion by
numbers, I'll
Johnson,
prove it on.
a second by Weaver.
Contents does not matter. You put it in front of me, it's getting a motion.
Yeah, it's,
We'll roll call that. Weaver,
yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Caleb.
Motion
Last
carried.
page, that 546,309. I can explain it.
5 4 is a 309. Oh, 5 4 6 3 0 9. Is that what you mean?
Yep. I can give a quick explanation if you want.
Yeah,
Are we
do
on
that.
TIF now?
Yep.
So the Gwen Crawford from the TIF attorneys and accounting office contacted me. So based on the way the original TIF agreement is written, is 80% of incremental TIF dollars that comes from residential properties gets sent back to the other taxing bodies. Follow me? So the way TIF works is property tax based. Any incremental dollars that come in for property tax come into the TIF district. Anything that's for business, the TIF district keeps. Anything that's for residential, so houses, if their property taxes went up, 80% of that incremental property tax goes back to the school district, to the park district, all the other taxing bodies. That's the way the agreement was written. So we have $8,000 roughly that has come in on that, and we're giving back $55,463.09, which is on the very last page. To those, and it shows the individual taxing bodies and who's getting one. Most of it's going to the school district. So that will always be that way. We'll have to do it every year, and the way we build TIF dollars is incremental. 20% of incremental residential and all of incremental business. Does that make sense? So we have to fill this out, and then we have to file it with
Peoria County,
Peoria County.
and send them a check.
And then, yeah, and we need to send them a check, and then they distribute it to the individual bodies.
Just for reference, what was the commercial side of it, the non-residential?
Yeah, you know what's weird is I can show you. It's the time frame or the horizon is wonky, right? Because this is a calendar year number, and the numbers that I show you on the TIF is a fiscal year. So it gets a little kind of out of whack. I can tell you though, I don't know what the off the hand, I don't know what the other one was. I can't minimize. I'll tell you after the meeting. I can pull up where we are fiscal year to date.
No, it's just gonna be 2201.
This should be 220101 because we don't think we had any ordinances last.
Yeah, we might not have.
From what I could see in the last minutes, there were no ordinances.
So I'll make a motion, pass TIF surplus declaration ordinance 22-01-01. No, I should say.
A motion by Johnson, do I have a second? Second by Sidak. Any further discussion? Everybody knows what we're voting on? No, you right?
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Yes.
Weaver. Sorry, I was checking names off, and I checked your name off already. I was like, that's not right. Do I need to vote on this too?
I don't believe so on this one.
Okay, because they have me down. It doesn't hurt that I vote, does it?
I suppose not.
Yes.
We could vote just in case. Yeah. That's what I did not know about that.
Motion carries.
That may have just been there in case we didn't get a concurrence.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
Finance report over.
Good work.
I'm fatigued.
Both of those are signed. Sanitary sewer,
Nothing to report, sir.
nothing to report. Wow. I gave Ryan a nice stack of stuff over there. As you see, it was from the old sanitary district. It was on my desk, so they're just old files back, I think, until 2012. So
much appreciated.
and I figured you'd want something to look through.
Yeah.
Something to put you to sleep at night.
Now that I see it, I think I'll update the agenda so you can go back to back next time, and Rod can go back to back, and then I'll add economic development as a line item for Zach for the next meeting.
Okay. Streets and alleys?
Nothing to report.
Man, you're really making this easy. Johnson? Police planning?
Between 1-2 and 115, 29 incident reports. End of report.
I'm gonna have to get a hold of Lieutenant Butterfield again. I mean, we haven't seen him since he came to the one meeting.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to do
We've gotta do a
6 a year.
They're supposed to
Yeah.
do 6 a year.
Yeah,
So, and he's only done one since I've been here.
yeah. So I don't know what they did last year too. Maybe if they did one before you came on, I don't know if they did that even.
Right. Well, no, the lieutenant was here twice that I know of.
So maybe 2 or 3 times.
Does it count that I see them in the town?
They had to physically be at their, as part of their community policing. So I'll reach out to Lieutenant Butterfield. Can you make me a note for that?
I got it.
Okay. Water?
Yes, sir. Got a couple items. First, we'll do all of our fund numbers. Had 26 total shutoffs for 4,697.18. Zero level pay. 4 foreclosures for 511.93. And approximate gallons sold 2,125,346.
I don't know if I told you, we did have a leak over the weekend at a residential property. The strap, what they call the thing that goes on from the house to the main. There's like a
Saddle over
saddle,
the
that's what it was. The saddle had rusted out and broke off. So the guys fixed that on last Sunday.
That's what Jim was carrying.
What's the name of the place that we got the?
The nonprofit. I can't remember.
Yeah. So there's that nonprofit that we were waiting for the rate evaluation and the loan evaluation for the water tower. We finally got the sheet for the rate, but it is
very complicated and incredibly hard to read. So it's got like multiple tabs and it's an Excel thing and it's a lot of numbers, but you were able to wade through it a little bit.
Yeah, I think if I look at the summary, it looks, based upon what I can tell, is that it appears that our minimum rate for water is around $24 for the minimum number of gallons or whatever. And according to what their analysis said, if I'm reading it correctly, is we should be closer to 29. And that doesn't include like the water tower, any new capital. So we would have, if we added that, then we would need to update it. The 2.7% we're going to do gets us 65 cents, something like that here in the beginning of the year. Conversely, on the sewer side, it looked like we were at around $18, just under that 17 and some change. If you round up, it would have been 18. And that's what they're saying we should be at. And I think we're charging closer to 20. So if you look at our financials, right, and each month we look at it, we're doing well on sewer. We've got more money than what our expenses are, and we're lower on the water side. So I guess it does hold some logic. So we're not suggesting that we do anything at this point. We're going to try to get a meeting with them. James Meese is the guy's name. I can't remember the RCAP. I don't remember what it stands for. But it's a little hard to get a hold of over email. So we're going to try to have a meeting with him to kind of explain it all to us and make sure that we're reading it correctly, and then we can have some discussions about, if we want to take any actions based upon that information. And then we can also look at, for the water tower, we can look at the total cost and then factor in, okay, well, if we want to increase the rates to help cover the cost of the water tower, what would that do to the rates on top of the increase we would already need to have? But I think, if I did the math, I can't remember, it was an email, but it was about an 18% increase.
That sounds right.
24 to 29. So that's another big jump on top of what we've already done. So again, I'm not suggesting, or I don't think we're suggesting we're doing anything at this point, but I think the data is helpful to help us understand is what we're charging, covering all of our current costs, not to mention the capital of what we may need to do moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know if this is feasible. Something I was thinking of was, could we say, to the village residents, hey, we're going to lower the sewer number, but yet we're going to increase the water. Because, we might be saying, and then differentiate that, because I know those funds, one goes in for sewer, one goes for water. We can't just draw, it's all general fund money, but we can't just draw the water money out as per se, but we could maybe adjust prices that way too. And then when we do the increases, we can look at doing those on the water.
Yeah, because what that would do, $2 on one, if we're $4 on the other, it gets you halfway there. So your increase would be 9% rather than, 18%. Again, assuming that's what we want to do. I'm not making that assumption at this point. At the end of the day, if you marry the two together, we're covering our costs per day. But the one thing that worries me a little bit is I don't really believe, with the exception of the money that we're putting aside every month for water and sewer and those types of things, I guess technically that is capital money that we're setting aside. If that makes sense. Those dollars are usually spent on capital projects. So I guess those rates do include some capital expenditures, but I don't know that we've sat down and said, if given our current system, and Brandon, you can jump in here if you want, but given our current system, if we were going to make sure it's upgraded over time like we've done with streets, I don't think those rates cover those additional capital expenditures completely. That's my gut. So.
Years ago, we did a better job with the sewer. We established those funds. We had a 20-year, 10-year, 5-year funds that you guys set aside. I don't know that we're necessarily married to those. One of them was for sewer lining, and we haven't done it since. But so on the sewer side, we did do some of that. On the water
We took
side,
out a loan, right? Isn't that what the IEPA loan's for sewer?
That was some of it, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what we did is decided, instead of borrowing it all next time. Let's start squirreling money away for the next time.
So right now, I'm sorry, Brandon, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think any of those funds that you squirrel money away for is for the IEPA loan. I thought that was just an operating line, if you will, not a savings account. That's what they used to be. I think they're changed, but so we did do that for sure. We had Brian, well, you'd be more used to the long-term plan. We had a 5, a 10, and a 20-year fund for essentially pump station upgrades, lining, and lagoon upgrades.
So right now, Brandon, right now we're putting $1,500 a month for sanitary savings, and we've got an account of roughly $76,000. We're putting $2,500 a month away for water tower savings, and we've got an account of roughly $170,000 at this point. We're putting $5,000 a month away for road improvement, and we're at $306,000. We're putting $1,000 a month for the railroad, the Rails to Trails project, and we're setting aside $2,500 a month for the IEPA repayment. So I guess if you take that $2,500 for the repayment of the work we've done on the sewer already and add the $1,500 to it, we're at $4,000 a month for sewer.
Yeah, and like you said, the 25 is obligated, if you will, and the 15 is being squirreled away for future capital projects. But I know when we set this up, and it's been a long time, there were 3 different time periods for future sewer capital projects, but maybe that's been adjusted since. But you're exactly right. I'd be happy to help out in however capacity you might see fit. We used to do the rate studies for you. If I can listen in, translate, elaborate, or help you implement any of that, I'd be happy to do so.
I can send you the rate analysis study, Brandon.
Be happy to take a quick look at it.
Yeah, because maybe you can help us novices read through that. But according to this, we're not really putting away any money for the water system in general, because it's all water tower.
Well, we should. It shows that we have a CD at the bank in Farmington for water. It's got approximately $112,000 in it.
I'm showing. I don't show 112.
So his balance
Okay,
is 111.
Yeah.
I don't
know if that's considered water tower or not.
Well, I'm assuming that's regular water because it's not marked water tower savings.
Yeah, there's 2 others up at the top of the Hannah City, so there's another 11 and another 53. So there, I guess you're right. There is money there, but we're not putting any new money away for that. It's only the water tower. I guess the bottom line is we need to look at the rates analysis. We need to do what we've done on the roadside, which is figure out how to build a long-term plan for updating the sewer, updating the water system, and making sure we're putting enough money away to cover those things.
Yep.
The good news is that ARPA money, the American Recovery Act money, we spent on a lift station, so I guess that was sewer, a capital project, and we're spending on meters, so that's another capital project. And we've got another $80,000 coming for that, which we can spend on those systems as well. I just feel like there's some work here for us to look at our rates, to look at what the ongoing costs are for maintaining our systems, and make sure, just like with the streets, that we've got a plan. Maybe that's unrealistic, Brandon. I don't know. I don't know the costs.
Nope, that's exactly what you should do. And we, like I said, it's been a long time since we visited that on the sewer side. The water side, I'm not sure we ever have, but it sounds like you've got a great opportunity to look at the revenue side. And now you need to look at the expenditures, both your O&M and then your future capital projects, looking at the life of the infrastructure. So you're exactly right.
When we did the sewer last time, did we do a third of the town?
We did a third of what needed it. You have sewers there were some that were, 5 years old and some that were 50. And so we looked at the worst and started there and did about a third of the worst stuff. And I have all that stuff buried somewhere, and I'd be happy to kind of dig it all up and review it with you and Jim and others who are interested. But we We did as much as we could, borrowed as much as you were comfortable with, and did the worst stuff first.
I guess my question is if do we have the data today to tell us that if we wanted to update all of our sewer system, that it would cost X, and if we wanted to update all of our water system, that it would cost Y, or all that it needed, everything that it needed to do?
Yeah, see, the first question is, yeah, I mean, you could inventory it and you could replace it all, but you're right. The question is, doesn't need it. The sewer is older, and you would need to know the condition of it. Before I even started here 24.5 years ago, was the last full city asset review that was done. So we used that in 06 when we decided because it didn't get any better, right? The worst stuff that was looked at in 94, we replaced in 06. That, again, the bad stuff that was shown in that asset is still bad if it hasn't been fixed. So we have that. The new stuff that's put in, we would assume that it was in better condition than the stuff that's was put in the 70s. Yeah. But no, you do not have a system-wide assessment. We'd be happy to help. Obviously, they're not cheap. When you already have the data, we can sit down and determine just how much looking do you want to do, to be able to understand what condition your system is in, and then squirreling stuff away. And again, one of the other things we did last time too was pump stations and the lagoon. We had just finished an expensive lagoon project that you would expect to do every 20 years.
I guess I'm feeling like now is the time to do this. We're operating at a surplus. The BDD and TIF dollars are coming in. They're not allocated at this point. We can't spend those things on this type of work. We've got the rate analysis study. There's the water tower is coming that we're going to have to fund. I just feel like, and the budget's going to happen in the next 3 months. So,
Brian, I think what I'd like to maybe offer you is it'll take me a while to dig up because it's old, but to show you what we did last time, we tried not to go overboard. You can spend a lot of money doing these things. And we just tried to be very simple, doing exactly that. Ask simple questions. What's the oldest, worst stuff? And if we prioritize stuff, and we did about 20 years, what buckets would you put things in? And I'll see if I can't dig that up. It's not, we didn't do a ginormous study. And maybe it'll spark your interest and be able to say, all right, this is good enough, or we want to do more or less. Just something for you to look at to see if it might give you an indication or roadmap of how we might move forward. It was just sewer, but it's the same with water.
Yeah, the thing that I'm excited or interested about is moving us from reaction, something breaks and we go fix it, to a proactive plan that says we've got ourselves in position to be adequately serve the residents.
And that's exactly what had happened then. Is the EPA was hollering at you for overflows. You had to borrow money because you were reactive. But the board at that time said, let's do exactly that. Let's start squirreling a little bit away at a time, so the next time this happens, maybe we don't have it all in the bank, but we can at least have most of it and not have to borrow.
Yeah.
And that was the exact reason you did that. I'll find that study for you. I know where it is in paper. I don't know if I can find it electronically, but I'll find it.
Well, the other thing is we're putting, Rod will throw something at me, we're putting $5,000 a month away for streets. Once we get through a 5-year program, maybe we don't need $5,000. Maybe we need more for sewer. I don't know. Or maybe we need $5,000 for all of them. I just don't know that we have that data. Anyway.
Yep, I can help. Let me send you a few things here in the next couple of days.
Okay, thanks.
I think that's it for me.
Good job.
Thank you. Buildings ground, Weaver?
I don't have anything.
So, other business. Everybody should have if everybody hadn't heard, Cindy from the Hannah City TAP, Cindy and Kevin's TAP.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Okay. Cindy passed away. Cindy held the liquor license. So upon her death, that terminated the liquor license. So unfortunately, that gives us one available, but we don't know if they're going to continue business. We don't know what's going on. I did talk with Brian. Brian went up and talked to them, told them.
Yeah, we just talked about the fact that I went in and looked at the code, and that it meant that the liquor license was no longer valid, and that they would need to reapply. And we certainly want to work with them if we could. You know, as Caleb and I talked, you know, I told them we're not going to come in and, you know, wrap police tape around the taps or anything, but I did want them to know that the state might be. You know, I didn't want them to get in trouble with the state, so they needed to be informed. But they had already turned off the gambling machines and shut everything down. I do believe they're having a celebration of life on the 22nd there, and there's lots of people there cleaning out and so forth. But it appeared to me when I was there that they weren't selling or doing anything. So, and then they, at that point, I don't think they knew what their plans were. But I offered that the village is willing to help them in any way, depending on what they want to try to do. So that was the extent of the conversation. But if people ask if they're going to sell it or whatever, or whoever is going to take it over, then they're going to have to reapply for both the licenses, and then we'll have to work through and decide how we want to handle that at that time.
So then we don't necessarily need to vote on increasing it.
Yeah, we talked about that, but then I think what we agreed on is maybe it's good to go ahead and increase it and then use that and then we've got one on the books. If
we don't have to vote again.
Yeah, we don't have to vote again, or if they come and want to re-up, then we don't have to necessarily vote again, and we can maybe work at a higher pace or faster pace if they're in need of that. And again, maybe that's not what you all want to do, but that's kind of the thought process we had.
You know, we just thought, you know, if they do change ownership and, you know, they get all of their stuff in a row, that someone's going to probably want to start sooner than later, so they would apply once they, you know, applied and everything. So do we do a background check on anybody who does liquor license?
I think that's part of the state process, but I don't know.
Yeah, but the state does.
And they're required to have that in order to operate, so I don't think we do.
But they can't get their state one until they get one from us.
Correct.
Yeah.
So even if they get one from us,
and the state doesn't,
and the state denies them,
Yeah.
they still can't sell alcohol.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think, I didn't know. I had someone ask me about it, and they asked me if, can you be a felon and get a liquor license? I was like, I don't know.
Background check entails.
It was a check rating, they said, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If I still want.
Yeah, that I don't know.
I mean, because I think that's up to the state.
Yeah, I don't think we run anything. We take your check and give you a license.
What's that?
We take your check and give you a license. We don't run background checks on anybody.
So we do have an ordinance number 22-01-02. An ordinance amending chapter 111 of the Village of Panama City Code of Ordinance to increase the number of Class A liquor licenses.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve that ordinance. Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Sidak. Any further discussion?
I'll just add that the Wings Place did update their application. They're only applying for the Class A, and they took all the gambling machines off of it. We do have the updated application. So if this is approved, we'll move forward with we're collecting the money from them, and then Denise will give them the certificate.
So we'll roll call it. Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries. I believe it's the 18th already.
Don't blame.
That was one of those. 22-01.
Trustee Sidek wasn't listed in the committee reports. I didn't know if you had anything to report on or not, but just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, good job, Brian.
Yeah, that's my bad. I said earlier, I'm going to adjust the order so you guys can go back to back, and then I'm going to add economic development. So that's on me.
See, I'm going by what he's putting down on the paper.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Did you have anything?
In fact, I do.
Okay.
I am excited to announce that we have received the Rails to Trails grant from the Department of Natural Resources.
Wow.
Keep in mind, it is a grant agreement, so there are certain obligations that we have on our part, like quarterly progress reports, acquisition project billing forms, and project billing certifications. We have procedure for land acquisition and criteria for that. And I thought this was interesting in the email that we are required, prior to final reimbursement, to erect a permanent sign on the trail that said it was paid for with DNR grant money. But the grant is in the amount of $1,664,800. And I'm sure as many of you know, we are required to make that purchase before March 30th of this year.
So right now we're working with our attorney and the railroad to get a purchase agreement written up. So that's the next step.
Now, is that did we ever find out if that is a purchase reimburse?
At this point, the way everything's written, it is still written as a reimbursement.
So we would pay.
So we would have to figure out how to pay, but the gal, I can't remember her name right off the top of my head, but she's looking at that for us. But as of right now, that's the way it's written, is we'd have to find the money, pay for it, and then be reimbursed. Now, they said there's a way you can do that all in the same day and those types of things. I'd rather not take that risk if we don't have to, but I don't know if we'll win that fight.
As long as we can purchase it, they give us the money, if we pay it, we're done.
Race to the bank.
Exactly. I mean, I really don't want to take out a $1.6 million loan either, so.
Understand for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be as simple though as working with the bank and it's just a transaction. And so we're working through that though. The biggest thing right now is we've got to get the language in the agreement, and we're waiting for the railroad to give us their draft purchase agreement for us to review and go through and deal with that. So,
did you get a chance to look at any of that DNR grant money?
I have not looked at the details of that. I did forward it to Fred, but I've not looked at the details. But that would be more for the construction and kind of phase 2.
Right. Yeah. There was also an Illinois DNR grant out there, sort of like the ARPA stuff, to help you do maintenance and building of the trail. So I figured,
it's
one
good.
grant, might as well do another grant.
Yeah,
they're going to offer the money,
sure.
especially getting stuff for my DNR.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go for a trail project, recreational biking, community type project, and that's one of the recommendations for it. So
we got to get it first.
Yeah.
You call them up and tell them.
Yeah.
Do we even,
I know.
Do we even have a person at railroad who's doing this? Are they lawyers just dealing with that?
Well, Fred and I talked to our lawyer, and then I know the guy's name, and Fred and I are included on all the emails back and forth on the purchase agreement discussions. So
I mean, it can't be that hard.
Well, you wouldn't think.
At this point, you'd think it'd be the same document, making a few changes that they've done for.
Well, it's
50 other
not
railroads.
like it's.
You think they'd be in a hurry too? Because I don't think there's a bunch of people lining up to buy it. So
No.
I mean, it's been in the process. They should know all the details.
Yeah, and if we don't get it, then
Brandon, you worked with railroads before, haven't you?
Hey, Olivia, you know Charlie, and we have a guy that knows these things inside and out, and all I know from listening is they are complicated, and I'm shocked that you've gotten this far this quickly and cleanly. They can be fair, so yes, it should be very easy. But I'm thrilled to hear that you got the grant, and I look forward to hearing about the purchase agreement being executed.
Well, we have the grant agreement signed. We don't actually have the money yet. The money won't come until we have the purchase agreement in place.
And that's with the railroad. Can I ask, Brian? I don't recall, what is the actual railroad?
Which railroad?
Yeah.
UP.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's always been them or not. It seems like early on it was maybe somebody different, but okay.
Yeah, I thought it was somebody different.
Probably one of their subsidiaries who then gave it back to the UP.
Well, because I think it was somebody that went out of business originally owned the railroad.
I know that when you ask that
sold
question,
it to
you get
another.
6 pages of answer. So if I can help in any way, Brian, let me know. I'm thrilled to hear that. So.
It used to be the Farmington to Peoria Railroad.
Yeah.
In like 1862.
Yeah.
and that's the problem is
Yeah.
there's 150 years of
Of course, they want to have everything documented and this transferred to this person on such a date. Okay, so Trustee Sidak, sorry about that.
That's my fault.
We'll flog him later.
Have a weekly flogging just for the heck of it.
Make you listen to Foghat.
Every time.
Wants to keep his mobility.
So, before you shall also have a resolution extending temporary executive powers pursuant to 65 ILCS 5/11-1-6, extending emergency executive powers.
So moved.
Motion by Johnson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion? Roll call, Pearson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
motion carries. And I do declare the local state of emergency pursuant to the authority vested in the office of village president by the Illinois Municipal Code 511-1-6, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act, Section 3305/11, and Ordinance 2020-0, Ordinance 20-04-01 of the Village of Hannah City. I, Anthony Frixell, the village president of the Village of Hannah City, do hereby declare the local state of emergency exists as of date, January 4th, 2022, and shall continue until such time as provided in Ordinance 20-04-01. And that's just for record. I've already gone over the bank authorizations, so that's already done. I haven't had any correspondence.
I did have some outgoing correspondence just to give you an update. Kinga Kreider from Village of West Peoria helped us out quite a bit during the transition. We ended up, with Tony's approval, cutting her a check for her help. And then I sent a note today to the West Peoria board acknowledging her and all the help that she provided us and that she didn't want anything in return. She lives out in Tribola, so I think she has a little kinship with Hannah City, but
She used to work at Gills.
Yeah, she was a huge help. So
yeah, I remember when she was staff there. So
I have a question. The only thing I got down for next meeting is the monthly financials. I don't think we didn't have anything else come up, did we? That needs to be in. We need to cover in the next meeting. Anybody? I'm sure we can add to it, but no.
let's see. And we need to. We know when the IEPA loan is due.
I do not know. Do you know? On the IEPA? We'll look at that tomorrow.
So just talking about that tonight made me think. I can't remember when we did our last payment.
I'm sure they'll let us know.
Or they want their money.
They do. They usually send out like 2 or 3. So.
Nobody has anything else come before the board? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Brandon.
Everybody. See you guys.